Hi, my name is Russ Lagan, and today in this session I want to talk to you about how you can generate other streams of income while you're doing your job as a real estate agent. You see, in the real estate industry, we have a pretty straightforward setup, right? Here's the deal. You've got a house, you sell a house, and you get paid for selling a house. See, here's the cool part. When you sell a house, you get paid. Here's the bad part. When you stop selling houses, you stop getting paid, right? So you're only as good as your last transaction. You're only good as your next couple transactions. So how does a real estate agent actually retire when they stop selling houses? They actually stop getting paid. They really can't retire a lot of times. That's why you'll hear in the real estate industry, real estate agents don't retire, they die. Right? And I know that's kind of cruel and sad, but I've seen it dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times where they just keep banging sale after sale after sale, and unless they're really judicious in saving money on every sale, they don't have the ability to retire. They don't have the nest egg. They don't have the financial fortitude to be able to actually retire and stop selling houses. So they kind of keep having to dabble and dabble and dabble and dabble and dabble, or they have to sell 4, 5, 6, 7 houses a year just so they can make ends meet as a retired person. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think anybody's American dream is to work for the rest of their life until the day they die and have to generate income, right? So I think, for me, I got into the real estate industry because I want financial freedom. Financial freedom to me is not having to trade time for money. And I can't do that if I've got to keep selling house after house after house after house to keep generating income. So there's a couple of things that I found that were interesting to me in this real estate industry, and I found this one scenario where you can actually get paid not only for this, but you can also get paid in a couple of other avenues and make more money than just selling houses and make residual business money come in on a regular basis. You can have passive income built in and also systems to be able to invest in yourself. So here's a scoop. So what we're talking about right here is every real estate agent, if that's selling houses, has the ability to generate income that one way. So let me ask you this. If you were able to generate income in other ways while doing this, would that be interesting to you? I don't know about you, but it got my attention really fast. So here's the cool part. There's a second way you can actually generate income by associating yourself with the right groups and the right people. And here's the cool part. The second way you can generate income is a lot of you guys in the traditional real estate models, you're paying a 6% franchise fee or you're paying a 5% franchise fee. What if you were working with a company that was able to actually, instead of having to pay the 5 or 6% franchise fee, allowed you to take 5% of every single transaction you do and invest that in the company, and they would give you stock options for 5% of every sale that you do? How would that be for different, right? So instead of the 5 or 6% going to the franchise, or on a $100,000 income, $5,000 or $6,000 going to the franchise, you get 5% or $5,000 per $100,000 you generate in income going into your own savings account in the form of stock. That's a pretty darn good deal, right? So instead of paying them, you're paying yourself on each one of these transactions. So now instead of just getting paid on this and then having some of your money redirected to the franchise, that money gets redirected back to you, and you could designate that to happen on every single transaction. That's pretty darn cool, right? That's pretty exciting. I've never seen anybody else do that yet in the real estate industry, which is why that one got my attention. Now, you might think that's cool, but I'm going to tell you something else. Check this out. What if that same deal, they would actually sell you that stock at a 20% discount? So actually for, every $5,000 you got $6,000 worth of stock. That's basically a 20% increase right out of the gate. So that stock that you're buying, that 5% of stock you're buying, is automatically worth 20% more right out of the gate the moment that stock gets given to you, right? So you get 20% return on your investment right out of the gate. Who in the world does that, right? So the 5% alone going back in your pocket is pretty cool, but how would you like to have that 5% plus you automatically get a 20% discount on that money, so you basically have a 20% return on investment day one with that money? That's pretty darn cool stuff. That's a second way that you can generate income just doing that. Now let me ask you this. In the process of doing this home sale, the majority of the deals, you've got a buyer on one side and you've got a seller on the other side. And depending on which one you are, there's another real estate agent typically involved in that transaction. Let's say you do such an unbelievably fantastic job and you're such a great real estate agent that the other person's like, wow, man, Russ, I really like doing business with you. That was a lot of fun. I'd like to hang out with someone like you more often. What are you doing? Who are you working with? So in a traditional real estate model, what happens is, the broker's sitting here. Here's your broker, right? And if somebody else gets added to the team, the broker gets paid, right? The broker gets paid, the business gets paid, the real estate office makes more money. Well, that's a pretty cool setup. That's as it should be, right? Obviously, brokers growing the company, they've got the expenses, costs, and so forth. They've got to make money on the deal. I don't have a problem with that. But here's the deal. Here's me. I'm Russ, right? Here's me. And I do business with this guy, let's say Joe over here, and Joe says, hey, I'd really like to work with you. I want to associate with you. I want to associate with your team. And I go, hey, Joe, well, why don't you come and work with me? So here's the problem. In the typical real estate model, I bring Joe in, and what happens? Joe makes this guy some cash, right? And what do I get? I brought Joe in. Joe came because I did such a good job working with him, and I'm so likable and good looking, right? No, really. Joe comes in and does, and then somebody else comes in and I do another deal, and they're like, hey man, I really like working with you, let's go. So I got Jane right here, and Jane comes into the system. What happens? Jane makes the broker money, makes the brokerage money. What do I get? Would you be thinking it would be way more fair if when Joe came in, I made a couple bucks off of that on the way through? That seems fair to me, right? And when Jane came in, I made a couple bucks on that on the way through? That seems like a more fair way to do it. Well, let me show you how this system works when you organize yourself and you work within this system, right? There's a system for this, right? So here's me. I bring somebody into the real estate business. And what if you could generate, if this person capped out in this model, if you were able to cap out in this model, what if that person was able to generate $2,800 a year for you, if they capped? You would get $2,800 just for bringing them in and associating them with the company. That's pretty cool, right? So let's look at this when you look at it doing it like 4 or 5 times, right? So let's say I got 5 people. Over the span of a year or two, I get people that want to do business with me, and they're like, hey, Russ, I like doing business with you. I'd like to join you guys and play with you guys. You get $2,800 per person if each one of these people caps. This is maximum, of course. If they do 1 or 2 transactions, you get a proportionate version of that, so you get less than that. But if they capped out in the model, the maximum you get per person is $2,800. $2,800 each. Or let's say this is around $200 per month per person. So let's say if you want to generate other income, you have a couple people that come along with you, you bring them to the brokerage, you should get paid for that, right? Because you helped bring them along to the brokerage. And let's say each one of these people represented $200 a month. You do $200 a month times 5, you'd be at $1,000 a month just for bringing those people along. Now, here's where it gets a little bit weird, right? And a lot of people don't understand this. Well, these people right here are going to be doing good business because they're working with us, and we're doing good business, and they're doing good business, and somebody's going to say to them, hey, man, Russ, I want to work with these guys too. And what happens is you get, 2, 3, each one of these people gets 5 people. Well, here's the fun part. Each one of these people, you can get $3,800, or about $300 a month per person. $300 a month per person. If this guy had 5 people they brought in, you'd have $1,500 and $1,500 and $1,500. Sorry, got a little sloppy there. And $1,500 and $1,500 per month. So now you're looking at $7,500 if you have 5 people and they bring somebody in, you deserve to get paid on them too, because they wouldn't be here if you didn't bring that guy in. Right? This is called, what do they call this? Compensation for consideration. You bring somebody in, you should get paid for it. They bring somebody in, you should still get paid for it because they would never be there without you. Pretty cool setup, right? So when you start adding this up, you're looking at 5 people you bring in. Each one of those people brings in 5. Just doing what you're already doing, selling houses, you're looking at $7,500 a month. Oh, plus your $1,000 for the first line of people you brought in. And that's just on a monthly basis, right? So now you're looking at $8,500 a month. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. This isn't going to happen today. Like, oh, I wake up in the morning and boom, this thing pops into existence. But I'd say as you're doing real estate transactions throughout the year, if you say, hey guys, I'm doing something pretty cool, you should check this out. Some of these people are going to say, heck yeah, man, that makes sense to me. And if you get a couple of them that do that, they get excited about it. They get a couple people that do that. This is how real estate brokerages are built, right? When I was running a brokerage of my own, I got Joe, and Joe gets excited, and he brings Rose, and Rose gets excited, and they get Ellen, and then Ellen gets excited, and they got Lindsay, and then Lindsay got excited, and she brought him in because they want to be around something they enjoy. They want to be around something that's exciting. They want to be around leadership that was helping them to grow their business. And none of them got paid a dime for helping bring other people along. We did, I did, the company did, the brokerage did, but they didn't. So in this system, you bring somebody along, they get excited, you get them excited, you say, hey, come on along, let's go play, boom, you get paid, right? That's the way it should be in the real estate industry, but it's not really the way it's done in most brokerages across the country. Very few companies do this kind of scenario. Now let me ask you this. You're looking at, you bring 5, they bring 5, just on that alone, and this can go further down, by the way. This can explode exponentially below here, but I don't even want to get into that kind of detail. This can go 7 layers deep in this scenario. Just on that alone, you're looking at $8,500 a month if each one of these people caps. Now, we know not everybody's going to cap in the system, but let's say on the upside, in that type of scenario, that simple of a system, without even the extra layers down below it, you're looking at $8,500 a month. What does that do for you? Does that change your world a little bit? Does that change the way you do business? What if you had the ability to generate over the next couple of years $8,500 per month in residual income, in revenue share, where you actually get a piece of every single thing these people do? Now, instead of being in a real estate business and you're doing sales and working for somebody else, you become part owner of this, right? You have an ownership because you've got stock, and you have an ownership because you've got people that you've brought into the company and you have ownership in it. You have pride in that. You have basically your own team that you've got rolling along. You don't have to give them transactions. You're just exposing them to the company, and the company's got a bunch of really great stuff, all the tools, all the training, all the things needed to be able to be great as a real estate agent. Some of the cutting edge technology, these people would love to be associated with that. So it makes it reasonably easy to add people in, and you can get paid for it. Would $8,500 a month with 5 people that each bring 5 and they all cap, would that be a life changer for you? Would that be a game changer for you? Heck, for some of you guys, that's way more money than you're making on a monthly basis right now as it is. If you could add that to what you were doing over here, would that help your business grow? Would that change your life? Heck yeah! Can you imagine an extra $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 every month just helping people get excited about what you got excited about? So there's 3. So this is number 3. Okay? 3, okay? 1, selling houses. 2, take some stock options, reinvest in yourself instead of giving the money back, reinvest in yourself at a 20% discount, which is pretty sweet setup. And then if you want to add some people along, you're doing business, this person seems like they're pretty cool. Hey, what are you doing over there, Russ? Here's what I'm doing. Why don't you come along for the ride? Boom, bam, we got him in. Then you get another one, I'm not saying do 10 of these a week. I'm saying do a couple a year. Over the next couple of years, this thing really adds up. See how I like that? That's pretty cool. No other company in the real estate business is doing this right now. Now, you might say, well, Russ, what's a fourth setup? Well, the fourth setup, that's pretty straightforward. We call this Icon Agent. And here's the deal. We know that Icon agents, these are the people that are out in the market that are being seen on a regular basis. These are the people that they're doing a good job, they're doing good business, and they get seen by a lot of people. Here's the reason why. They do, you're doing 20 to 30, 40, 50 transactions a year. And when you're doing 30, 40, 50 transactions a year, boom, you're going to see a lot of those other people on the other side of the transaction. So what this company does is they have what we call Icon status, and Icon status works like this. Your cap in the company is $16,000 for the cap, so that's $16,000 in company dollar, or that equates to about at a 3% commission average, $2.66 million in sales. Basically, you're capped out. What happens when you cap out? When you cap out in this model, you paid your $16,000 in or sold $2.66 million in real estate at a 3% commission rate. You cap out and you go to 100%. Pretty sweet setup, right? So the company's saying, hey, we're going to make our money, but we don't need to make all the money off of you. Since you're part owner of this company, We want the real estate agents to get the benefit and the real estate agents to be invested in it. Obviously, it costs money to do business, so we've got to make some money on the deal. But once you get to that $16,000 cap, we're going to pop you at 100%. At 100%, basically, the scenario goes pretty straightforward. In your next 20 sales, you basically end up with $250 per transaction. Okay? On your next 20 sales, you get $250 per transaction. Any transaction after that is actually less, which is pretty cool. So if you're selling 100 homes, it actually goes down from there. Pretty sweet setup, right? So here's the fun part. When you cap, then do the additional 20 sales at the $250 transaction fee, you become what we call icon status, because you're this guy out being seen, and the company wants people like that, wants good representation out in the market, wants people doing bang up business, selling a bunch of these, and it makes the company look good and gets us more exposure. This is like having a walking billboard. Do you see people with billboards and park benches and advertisements? This person then becomes basically an advertisement for the company. Makes the company look good, gets the company exposure. Well, if that's the case, shouldn't you be compensated for that? You're making the company look good. You're making the company exposed out in the market. You're like a walking billboard for the company, and hopefully you're doing a great job making a good reputation also, and they're going to call you icon status. When you get icon status, here's the cool part. This $16,000 that you initially paid in to get your first 2.66 mil in closed transactions, they're going to give that $16,000 back to you in company stock. So basically, what does it cost for you to do business as an icon agent for your cap? Your cap basically goes down to zero. You get that $16,000 back in company stock. Here's the cool part. The company's growing, company's making more money, the stock goes up. So can you imagine if the stock goes up like it has in the past couple of years, stock goes up from 30 cents, goes up to 10 bucks. I'm not saying that in the next couple of years that it's going to do that again, but what I will say is the company's growing. If the company's growing and doing better business and making more money and putting more money on the bottom line, there's a really good chance that that stock is going to stay stable and or the stock's going to go up if the company keeps growing. If you're part of the success of this company, you can help this company be successful and help the stock go up. That's pretty cool too, right? So there you go. There's 4 different ways you can make money. If you want to talk about this more, book a strategy session. Check out the link down below. You can book a strategy session with me. I can talk about how this applies to your business, and we can show you how to take your business to the next level and see if this is a good fit for you. If it is, click on the link below. Block out a time with me, 45-minute strategy session. See if we could take your business to the next level. I'm Russ Lagan. If this got your attention, reach out to me. Look forward to talking to you soon.